Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily stock market review for the trading day ending Monday, September 21st. Well, firstly to the S&P 500, and here we see formation of a white body candle as opposed to the black body of the previous day. The previous day's trading we saw the sellers in control, breaching down through the Tenkan-sen area that should have held a support and breaking out down through there in a bearish manner. Gives us a bearish market in all three time frames now, with the market trading down below the cloud, the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen, and the bearishness is supported by the Chica span being below the corresponding price action. For today, we've seen the buyers attempt to build some momentum, but they've actually failed at the 1968 level of previous resistance, previous support area as well, and being rejected from there has seen the buyers fail to take control. We've seen the market close roughly around the midpoint level, so suggesting that neither side has taken control. This suggests weakness in the downtrend, but we're not seeing a lot of strength from the buyers here. The buyers are unable to trade up above the Tenkan-sen, which is held as resistance for today's trading. Now, this is still a potential bullish harami pattern. We have the downtrend in place, the larger black body candle, smaller white body within the body of the previous, and looking for confirmation, but potentially strong resistance once again around the Tenkan-sen indicator, trading around 1979, and then just above there at the Kijun-sen, trading roughly about 1986. Now, just looking at the Fibonacci retracement of the previous uptrend, and here we've seen for the previous day's trading some support coming in at the 78.6% level. The market testing just down to there today and being rejected from there, with the sellers losing control, and that suggests that there is a possibility of a change of trend, but that will need to be confirmed, and we'll be looking for the market to breach up through that Tenkan-sen to change the trend if at all possible. Now, with the failure of the previous pattern, we had something of a symmetrical triangle type pattern or an ascending triangle type pattern. With the failure above there, the market did close above there, but we saw a lack of follow through, and then we traded back to within the pattern. We can now change the pattern, and we're looking at something of a wedge type pattern here. Wedges that move against the prior trend tend to be reversals, but not always the case. So we'll be looking for a close either below the bottom barrier or above the upper barrier. Having to change this pattern is not ideal, however. What we really do have here is a retracement of this very strong downtrend going on, but we can draw this pattern as we do have some sort of congestion happening here, but certainly not as confident as this pattern working out now that we've had to change the shape of it. Looking to the bands here with the S&P 500 on the daily charts, and here we see the market trading within the bands again, trading roughly around the middle of the bands, and suggesting that we have no clear direction in this market. If you recall previously, we were watching that upper band to hold as resistance, and that's exactly what happened. The market tested above there, and we saw strong rejection from there. Strong follow through the next day with the market finding support around the middle of the bands, and today just a very indecisive trading with this very small bodied candle, the market not trading up to the upper band, but certainly watching the upper band. If we do see a change of trend to hold as resistance, that's at roughly 1985, or the middle band trading at 1952 to hold as support. Next to the Dow 30, and a similar type of candle here, a bullish harami pattern set up here, the market finding resistance at the Tenkan-sen indicator, roughly about 16572 is where it trades, so we'll be watching that area for resistance tomorrow, but also resistance coming in at the 16588 level just above the Tenkan-sen. A little bit more bullishness in this market with a moderately larger white body, so a greater shift of momentum to the buyers as opposed to the S&P 500, but also a day where the market is closed roughly around the midpoint level, slightly above, so the close slightly favouring the buyers, suggesting some bullishness and some control by the buyers at the end of the day, but not terribly significant. We see the shadow on the top highlighting the strong rejection from these higher levels and from the resistance overhead. Moving next to the Nasdaq 100, and here we see a continuation of the very indecisive trading that we've seen for the last 3 trading days. Previously, the market was trending up, and we tested all the way up to the top of the highlighted zone with very strong rejection from there. The sellers taking control in that candle, selling off for the next day's trading. Sellers taking control and changing the trend. And today, the market continuing the trend to the downside, lower high, lower low. But the sellers have lost control, and neither side has taken control, closing just around that midpoint level. Formation of a black body candle, not terribly big, a small amount of downside momentum, but a very, very indecisive trading day with a larger shadow on the top and one on the bottom. And little wonder, when we look at the strong resistance of this highlighted yellow zone, and it extends all the way up to about the 4448 area, and also the strong support down below where the low tested to between 4308 down to about the 4280 level. So very strong resistance overhead, very strong support down below. We have mixed signals with Ichimoku where we're trading below the cloud, so we're bearish in the longer term time frame, trading just around the Tenkan-sen, so just slightly negative to neutral in the short term time frame, but bullish in the medium term time frame by trading above the Chica span. So a lot of indecision in this market, and the market is attempting to make its mind up. The question here really is, are the buyers ever going to be strong enough to trade back up through the Ichimoku cloud? And that's a good question with the strong overhead resistance. And just looking at the bands here with the Nasdaq 100, and here we saw previously the market attempting to break out through the top of the upper band, failing on a very weak candle in terms of buyers. The sellers have taken control in that candle. The buyers lost commitment, then the market traded back within the bands, giving us a fairly neutral market, slightly favouring the buyers, but still not a strong bull market. For the past 2 consecutive days, the market has found resistance at the upper band on these indecisive candles, so it suggests the possibility of us trading back to the downside. But we'll be looking at the middle of the bands at 4264 to hold a support, but still watching that upper band. If we do breach up through there in a bullish manner, we could see the market develop further to the upside if we see strong follow through to the upside after that, and then certainly the market would need to breach through the swing high here of this candle at 4450. Looking next at some stocks, and Activision, ATVI is the code, and this is a stock that's been very, very strong in this market, trading well up above each of the Ichimoku indicators, extending the trend to the upside with a higher high and a higher low today. The buyers strongly in control, strongly committed, trading up above each of the Ichimoku indicators, supported by the Chica span, and the relative strength comparative is well up above the upper band, highlighting strong upside relative strength versus the SPY ETF, the overall S&P 500, and momentum of that relative strength is well up above the upper band, so momentum is very strong and above the 100% level. Volatility is trending up very strongly as well, coming off a cyclical low and up above the upper band, and suggesting we could see a good continuation to this trend to the upside. If we do see the market come off, potential support at the previous resistance level around the $30 level, and the Tenkan-sen is trading at the $30 level as well, so we're likely to find strong support around that area if we do see some profit taking come into this market. Nike, NKE is another stock we've been watching, and here we see the market bouncing off the support of the Ichimoku cloud. Previously we saw the bullish breakout, lack of follow through, the market finding support at the cloud and then changing the trend back to the upside today. And this is a way that we see the transition from this neutral phase into a bull phase. We are seeing potential resistance at these swing highs just above where the market's trading at the moment, around the 117.50 level. We have seen a small loss of commitment up above this immediate previous swing high, market failing to close above there, so we will need to close above there to give us some greater confidence, and then a bullish breakout up above the resistance at the previous major swing high could see the market develop higher. But relative strength comparative against the overall market is very strong, as is that momentum trending up very strongly, and volatility is trending up strongly again, suggesting we could see further development to the upside. Importantly also, just over the last day or two, we've seen the Chica span above the corresponding price action, so it suggests that we have some solid upside momentum in this market now in the medium term time frame, and it's supporting the bullishness that we're seeing now in all 3 time frames. Facebook FB is a stock that we've been watching closely, and we saw the market just probing above the Ichimoku cloud. Today we've seen an extension to that trend today, but we did see the buyers lose some commitment, as evidenced by this shadow on the top of the candle. A smaller white body, but relative strength comparative continues higher, as does that momentum of relative strength, and we're starting to see volatility tick up. Potential resistance at the swing highs here, which is at 96.10, and we have seen some rejection from very close to that area today, and some further resistance at these higher levels, extending up very close to the $99 level. If we do see the market come off, looking to support at the top of the Ichimoku cloud around 94, and at the Tenkan-sen, which is just inside the cloud, at 93. Campbell's Soup continues to be a strong Campbell's Soup continues to be a fairly strong stock in terms of relative strength here, trending up above each of the Ichimoku indicators. But if we look closely here at the momentum of that relative strength, it's actually coming off, and that suggests that we're seeing some weakness in the performance against the overall market, and we're seeing development of these very small body candles following this very strong breakout, this very strong upside price activity. There is potential for a change of trend back to the downside, and if we do see that, looking to the Tenkan-sen trading at $50.38 to hold a strong support, or at this previous swing high, roughly about the $50.80 level, and that's just where we tested to for the previous day's trading. Volatility of volatility is trending up here quite strongly, and we're seeing it trade higher off a cyclical low. So that's suggesting that if we do see buyers coming into the market strongly again, we could see that relative strength start to change trend in terms of momentum once again and start to pick up and move higher. But really, with the small body trading that we've seen over the last few days, it denotes a lot of indecision in this market. It's suggesting the market's having a bit of rest after this very strong trading of the prior couple of days. And looking at Royal Caribbean Cruises RCL is another market that's trending up strongly. Potential resistance at the previous swing high here, about 97.60, but following a small pullback on an indecisive candle, we've seen the buyers come into the market strongly today, closing with control, and relative strength is trending up strongly. Relative strength momentum is trending up very strongly, as is volatility, and suggesting we certainly could see further upside if we can breach that immediate previous swing high. The bullish activity in all three timeframes is strongly supported by the Chica span.